The recent announcement of the posthumous pardon of civil rights leader and Jamaican Pan-Africanist Marcus Garvey has been met with mixed reactions from observers in the Caribbean and abroad. The pardon was granted by outgoing U.S. President Joe Biden. Garvey, considered one of the forerunners of the civil rights movement in the United States, was charged with mail fraud in the U.S. in the 1920s before his sentence was commuted and he was later deported to Jamaica. Many believed his imprisonment was politically motivated and designed to quell his civil rights activity, which is gaining much momentum in a racially charged United States. The news of his pardon was greeted with much approval by observers in the Caribbean and abroad, but some believe it is not enough and he should be completely exonerated of the crime. One such person is Ras Aya of the Nyabingi Theocracy Order in St. Kitts and Nevis. He shared his views in a recent interview with SKN Newsline.
That was nothing generally to bring to a defense of what Marcus Garvey stands for. Now, when you look at the things that we realize that were brought against Marcus Garvey, a pardoning cannot bring the insert of justice to Marcus Garvey. And knowing the best thing Biden could have done is exonerate Marcus Garvey because he wasn't doing nothing wrong. But these are the instances of what the states look at trying to make they have something done on a permanent basis to say they have changed the ideal of how we face to live with one another. But in the same breath, we still have something hanging on the head of Marcus Garvey. So we are the justice really formulated in that to say when you indicate as a pardoning, who you're pardoning him for. What the position you are, the grounds pardoning.
So you're not impressed with a pardon?
No pardon bring no relief to Marcus Garvey's name. It not. Some people might be insisting that say that is a start, but the real factor is that Marcus Garvey was very imminent to stand against all odds, and whether they see him of or whether they know him of, he always see himself as a man not being guilty of the charges that were facing against him. Even of his own peers were one imminent to being instrumental against him and all. So I would say pardoning, bringing a release of Marcus Garvey.
The United Negro Improvement Association, UNIA, an organization founded by Garvey, shares Ras Aya's views. President of the Jamaican chapter of the UNIA, Stephen Golden, on All Angles, a news and current affairs TV program in Jamaica, echoed similar sentiments.
I think what is important is the example that Jamaica laid down in 2018 when by an act of parliament we exonerated Mr. Garvey here along with a number of our other national heroes who had been convicted of crimes during the colonial government period. I think that's an example of what the U.S. Congress needs to follow. I hear everybody talking about, we don't know about this presidency. Listen, presidents can only pardon. Interestingly enough, Donald Trump pardoned Jack Johnson, who was a contemporary of Marcus Garvey as the first black heavyweight, and who they had charged with the Mann Act. Interestingly enough, before they charged Garvey for mail fraud, they had tried to charge him with the Mann Act also for traveling with Amy Jakes Garvey before they had gotten married. But it's no longer within the remit of the president. They can do nothing more. Presidents could never exonerate. You know, I'm still waiting to see what the pardon says. I saw Dr. Angela Brown talking about if the pardon admits that he was set up, then it's an exoneration to them. But legally, it's not. An exoneration means the U.S. justice system admits to doing a wrong, and then there are questions of reparations or maybe compensation that the family can bring up.
Prime Minister of Jamaica Andrew Holness welcomed the posthumous pardon, calling it a first step towards total exoneration and expungement of this historical injustice. Jamaica's opposition People's National Party sees the pardon as an exoneration of Marcus Garvey. The Caribbean community, CARICOM, expressed its profound gratitude to the outgoing Biden administration. Marcus Garvey is Jamaica's first national hero. Andre Huey, SKN Newsline.